As Rocket League players, we all make a lot of mistakes. Most of these mistakes were established when we were much lower ranked, and as we ranked up, we didn't really find ways to fix these mistakes. We more found ways to work around them. Of course, the higher in rank you get, the more these mistakes cause problems for us. So today, we're going to help a gold player eliminate some of these bad habits early on. And despite this being a gold player, a lot of the mistakes we'll talk about are things that unfortunately, many players all the way up through GC also make. There will be something in here for almost everyone. Because you're a Game Sense player, one of the things I'm going to stress a lot is just keeping an eye on every other player on the field as often as possible. Because if we're looking at this play, we can see that Kebab is facing across. There is no world where we get to this ball before him. And we don't have a ton of boost. So if we use a boost to get forward and then we get beat, now we're rotating back with like 0. And that's awkward. So it's much easier just to stay here, wait to see what he does, because more than likely, it's probably just going to get hit off the sidewall. At this rank, there's no chance that this guy actually takes control of this ball and does anything with it. It's probably just going to be a one touch, and you just staying here allows you to go, oh, cool, that was great. Now I can pounce on whatever you do because you've given the ball away. Because if we look, yep, that ball's just going to the sidewall. So if you were a little bit further back, you might have been able to just drive over to this and get a touch back into the corner, instead of now being in a really awkward spot where the ball is like right next to you and rolling past you. So it's a little hard to catch up to that one. The biggest rule I have is generally if we can tell that an opponent's or anyone on the field is going to hit the ball, we don't want to commit too hard in any one direction because we don't know exactly where the ball is going to go. And if we commit too hard and we end up going in the wrong direction, now we can't make a play on the ball at all because we've overcommitted to a place we don't need to be. Right here, and I remember this, try to keep ball cam on as much as possible. One of the best things you can do, we know this mid boost isn't going to be here. Are you aware of the boost time, the spawns on the boost? Do you know about how long they take to spawn?
Is it 15 seconds?
So the small pads are 4 seconds, and the big boost are 10 seconds. So after kickoff, it's really easy to know when this boost is going to spawn, because if we look up here, it's only been 9 seconds. This boost would have been taken after the initial kickoff, which means it's not going to be here for a little bit. So we know we're not going to get this one. What I would do, we got the ball coming like behind us over our shoulder. We're obviously not going to turn on it in this instance because that would be weird, especially with 0 boost. I would line myself up for this corner, make sure I'm lined up straight, and then I would immediately put ball cam back on. But the last thing I want to do is be staring back here, and then at the time I do put ball cam back on, now the ball's just like in my net already, and I wasn't even aware that it was happening. But we do pick up the boost, so that's fine. I would be careful here, though, because you're going to make a slight turn towards this wall. And again, we're committing into a direction before we see what happens here. So, natural inclination would tell us this dude's just going to hit this ball straight. Which, in this instance, that'd be great, because we just go, okay, we'll drive up the wall and we'll get the touch. But we're in gold, so we also don't know what this guy's gonna do. He could clean whiff it. He could clean whiff it for all I know.
The unpredictability of my opponents is a bit of an issue sometimes.
Yeah.
In 2s. In 1s it's kind of fun because I can just dunk them, but in 2s it's really difficult.
What I would do here, you picked up this boost and you were facing this way. I would just stay facing this way and take your finger off the accelerate button and just kind of coast until you see where this ball goes. From this position, we are absolutely not scared at all about any kind of shot on net because we're in a spot to save it, and there's no world where this guy gets that much power that it's going to actually get past us. We can kind of just chill here. If he does go backboard, then great, we can go ahead and turn up the wall at that point. But if it comes across this way, then we're still in a spot to turn out to pick up possession. But because we turned to the backboard, and now the ball is behind us, and now we can't get back to it. And this is where we're going to see our first awkward moment. Even reversing straight backwards towards the net would be better here. Try as much as possible to avoid the flip-flopping back and forth. One of the biggest recommendations I always make is it is better to do the wrong thing quickly than to do the right thing far too slow. So, whatever decision you're going to make here, just try to train yourself to make it as quickly as possible. Even if it ends up being wrong, it's better to have tried to do something than to have gotten stuck in panic mode where it's like, I don't know what to do, and the ball's in my net. Oh.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
In this instance, again,
I tried to air roll.
And I'm assuming you don't have much experience with air roll, because that's a very complex situation. Yeah.
I pulled them off that once or twice, but other than that, they're all in ones, because that's where I feel safe. I don't feel as panicky in ones.
Honestly, what I would recommend here, again, we have a defender in net. Unless we're confident that we can shoot this ball, like, into the top of the net somewhere, even if it's, like, anywhere in the top of the net, if we can shoot the ball there, that's great. If we're not confident in hitting the ball there, honestly, again, look up to the backboard. At this rank, everyone struggles with balls high in the air.
So, yeah, I failed that, but I hoped it would pass to him.
Yeah.
At least.
The pass is a great idea. We just want to put it in a spot that means that the opponents can't follow up on it first. And by passing it here, we've kind of just given them free reign to do what they want. With the amount of time you've had in the game, like, you're still at a level where in order to make a solid play on the ball, you kind of need to be looking at it to know how you're touching it. But yeah, as you get more comfortable with getting the touches on the ball that you want, the more you can spend focusing on the other players, the better off you're going to be. At the higher levels, I tend to spend about 70% of the game watching players, only 30% watching ball.
Yeah.
Here's another flip that I'm gonna say you don't need. The half flip's fine. At this point, we don't really need to panic back yet. We have full boost, so if there's any kind of danger, we can use a bit of boost. But we don't want to be caught in a flip when the ball gets hit, because once the ball gets touched, we can't really do anything to play off of it if we're stuck in the middle of the flip animation.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, the way I like to look at, like, flips and boost are both the resources we have in this game. A lot of people like to say boost is the only resource that exists, but realistically flips, like jumps and flips, are also a resource that ideally should only be used when we actually need them. Because otherwise we're just minimizing our ability to move around the field freely. Because the more time we spend stuck in a flip, the less time we are on our wheels, and the less time we can actually make a play on things. One thing I will say here, and this is another exercise in patience, these are really hard, because I even know as I was ranking up, I did this all the time. As this play kind of develops, we have no idea what's gonna happen here.
The whole lobby's humping a post, and I'm just in the back watching it.
Like, this thing could go anywhere. We have no clue. So I would just kind of wait here. The fact of the matter is, these two are in really awkward spots. If your teammate somehow manages to push this ball into the midfield, this is a free goal regardless, because these guys aren't turning fast enough. The only chance they have is if we also take ourselves out of the play, which is exactly what we're going to do by pushing up here and taking away all of the advantage that we have. Because at this point, we can see how the whole play is developing. So from this far away, we have a great gauge of what we can and can't go for. But as soon as we do this, now it's gone. There's nothing that we can do. And this was just like, oh, I think I might have a chance here. I'm just going to go. And in fact, your teammate was kind of still doing some work. That almost resulted in a free ball. But yeah, just diving it a little too fast there. You got the boost as well, so I like that. Nice. I like that fake challenge. That's good. I like that you're not going for this. That's also smart. That's
I like to try and fake pressure as well. Like, look like I'm about to drive into them, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's so effective. Pretty much at every single rank, because, like, you put your opponents in a spot where, like, they have to do something, because if you're fake challenging, yeah, they're gonna give away the ball, but if you're real challenging, they're just gonna get hard blocked. So you put them in pretty much an impossible situation, and it works out fantastically all the time. And then here, again, we're gonna see a point where we boost forward and get ourselves too close to the play, and then can't react to it, because we've overcommitted in a direction before we knew where the ball was gonna go. That's kind of the same thing that happened earlier, where we drove past the ball because we pushed too far in one direction. I like that recovery, though. That was beautiful. That's better than, like, probably 50% of recoveries I see, even at GC. I like this force play. You don't need to burn all this boost, though. You forced him, that's great. You already know you have a teammate behind you, and you know there's full boost back there.
And I also cut Kebab off from his boost.
Yeah. So you don't need to burn all this, because your teammate has literally the entire field to just let this ball roll to him, and then take control. We have no rush to full send it all the way back.
It's because I don't know if he's gonna get challenged or not, you see. Like...
As comes with time is just knowing that we're not going to have a challenge here, because we know, like, just looking at this instance, Kebab, no boost, just took the kickoff. We're taking this, so he's still out of the play. This dude's going to get the corner, and then is going to boom it down the field, therefore taking himself out of the play. So, like, kind of looking at, like, what my thought process would be here, I'm like, okay, Kebab 0 boost, Kebab still 0 boost, Turtle has boost, but now Turtle is awkwardly landing on the wall and is going to be driving forward. But with this ball rolling back, there is no chance that any defender gets to this ball before it reaches my teammate. And it's kind of this general principle of if the ball is moving towards a player, even if that player is possibly moving slower, they will still get to the ball first, because the ball is going to them. So yeah, in this instance, I'm not worried at all. Like, this is just a free ball.
It seems a lot of my issue is literally panic.
Yeah, it really is, because you're just gonna full panic, like, oh gosh, what if someone's on it, and if you look, there's no one here. there's no one here. If you're really worried, again, using your right stick to just look to see, like, if anyone's there, and that'll give you the information. A lot of panic in Rocket League really does come down to just a lack of information. That's kind of what ball cam naturally does, because the ball cam is staring at the ball, so you lose a lot of other information from around the field, but that's why it's so important to get used to using your right stick to look around, and your rear view as well. Those are two things that are very useful, so you can get as much information as possible, while also giving yourself the best view of the play. And then this is just full-scale panic. Like, you don't need to take this ball. Your teammate had it for free. And as you can see, as you turn around, there was no one here. But now because you've done that, now we put ourselves and our teammate in an awkward spot. Now this is just a free goal. Basically, at this exact moment, when I'm looking at this, I already know that my rotation here is just going to be over this way. Because I would rather do the right thing and get burned from this dude being incompetent than ruin the play by my own fault. Because if I go the right direction and then he royally messes it up, you know what, that's fine. Like, you're gonna have... people are gonna make mistakes. But if we try to compensate for it before it even happens, we're just gonna become more of the problem. And then this is, again, just over-committing in a direction. The problem is you're facing the corner and you're not even in front of the net anymore. Like, you...
Yeah.
you probably don't know about the markings on the field. Right here, this dotted line, this is your post.
What?
That's your right post.
You're telling me that I could have been using that the whole time to kind of dictate whether to go back or not?
Yeah, they're not on all the fields. Some fields don't have them, but here on Manfield it does. Yeah, this dotted line is your post. They're on both sides. So that might help you out a little bit. But yeah, you just literally drove pretty much into the middle of the nowhere. Now, granted, your teammate got about the worst 50-50 one could ever possibly imagine.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go that bad, to be fair.
Yeah, no, in fairness, he got a really bad 50-50. But yeah, we should have been there for that one for sure. But yeah, those markings can definitely help. And again, here, I literally talked about this exact situation because I even do this in a video where I was talking through one of my own replays. It is so tempting. We take this kickoff, we get the block, the ball's like sitting here, we're going, okay, cool, our teammate's probably coming forward. I trust that he's gonna get a touch. I'm just gonna go get this mid boost. This is fine. When in reality, this ball's kind of dangerous, because any touch towards the net could just be right in. If I'm ever unsure, the easiest thing to do is just rotate small pads and go back towards the net. Because if you autopilot for the mid boost, things like this happen. Where you just drive. Now, I don't think you would have gotten back for this one anyway, to be fair.
No.
Because he absolutely boomed it. But if you ever land on kickoff and you're not sure if, like, something's going to be dangerous, just look to rotate those small pads and go back. Another flip that we probably shouldn't use. And this is like a key point where you don't want to use a flip. Because look at what's kind of transpiring here.
Oh, yeah.
Very possible 50-50 of some type, possible challenge. So we don't know what's going to happen here. And we're going to be caught, like, upside down mid-flip as this is happening.
So I don't want to commit in one direction while I don't know what the direction the play is gonna.
Exactly, and that's why spacing is so important. So realistically, in this play, I'm probably not even driving back towards this guy, because if I'm driving towards him with low boost, my teammate's now gonna kind of be confused because he sees me land on the sidewall, and he might assume that he has free play here, but then we're just coming back across. So I would avoid doing that. I would just kind of chill out in the midfield and make a play off of what happens. But the fact that we boost back towards this play, yes, it does pressure the opponent, but also it makes things very awkward with our teammate, because now we're just in the same spot as him.
Yeah, that was a bit silly of me.
And this is... Oh! What a slot! This is full-scale panic. And this is gonna be because you didn't just rotate small pads. You don't really need to go get boost. You have plenty.
Yeah. I guess ape brain go, me no C100, me need boost.
I feel that my friend likes to say that if they didn't want you to go get it, they wouldn't have made it so shiny. General rule for me is if I can get 3 boost pads, I'm content to make any play that I need to. Because the other great thing is that, so you have 30, and you use all of it to go get the full boost. And then you use a bunch more to get back. Yeah, you're like...
I was like, you know, have you seen that meme where the episode where SpongeBob is in his brain, and it's like all SpongeBob's running around with, like...
Yes.
That is me right now.
This is another one where it's his ball. As this bounces off, we can clearly see, if we look at him, that he is definitely coming in for this, and our current car language is showing this. So from his perspective, he sees us going this way, so he's gonna come in for this one. If we're showing that we're driving away, we can't change our mind last minute, because we're already telling our teammate what to do. And now we put ourselves in an awkward spot again. So yeah, overall, I think if I was going to give you some general tips, number 1, just working on the basic mechanics until you have them to a T. Basically half flips and wave dashes. Because those will speed up recoveries a ton. And then not getting baited in by tempting plays on offense. So if you ever see an awkward situation, it's best to just stay back and let that awkward situation play itself out, and then go where you need to go. Which kind of ties into just keeping ourselves in positions where we can attack the ball as quickly as possible. And limiting our flips so that we're not taking ourselves out of the play by being in mid-flip when we need to make a play on the ball. Another big thing, just not driving too far in one direction before we know where the play is going. Just making sure we're aware of what our car is telling our teammates, and not crowding in on them, and making sure that we're always making the correct play even if it doesn't end up working out. I do hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you'd like to be more involved in this community, please consider joining my Discord, linked down in the description. So thank you everybody so much for watching, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys. Thank you.